Hey, what's up everyone? I'm back with my Technomancer. Figured it's about time I made an updated build, so let's take a look into a firepower setup that I believe is the best in the game. Just take a look, I'm able to take out some of the toughest bosses in the game while only using one magazine in the gun.
Stand up.
And I don't even run out of ammo either, I can keep going. Also, a lot of the time I mistake elites and captains for regular grunt level enemies because they die with almost the same amount of bullets.
Get the fuck out of here.
Don't forget to subscribe if you're interested in more Outriders content on a weekly basis. And join my Discord that I put in the description down below for anyone looking for help or just people to play with. Saying that, let's start off with the weapon of choice that's going to allow us to do millions of damage to any enemy with ease. For that, I went with a purple AR using the burst fire variation because it offers the most damage out of the other variations, and a really good crit multiplier of 164%. With the attributes, you'll want crit damage, long range damage, and close range damage. If you don't get close range damage, that's not a huge deal, it's just a little nice to have if an enemy does get really close to you, so at least you have a little damage buff. On to the mods now. I went with Dark Sacrifice just for a huge 75% weapon damage bonus that's always activated, and Anomaly Enhancement that increases my firepower by 40% of my anomaly power. Seeing that I have close to 55,000 anomaly power, I'm getting somewhere around 22,000 firepower because of this mod. Since I'm only using one weapon, let's move on to the armor, starting off with the headpiece. For my headpiece, I'm using whatever purple rarity helmet with the attributes of bonus firepower, cooldown reduction, and long range damage. Then for the mods, I went with Bloodlust to increase my firepower, and Toxic Lead so I could keep my ammo full by killing enemies afflicted by Toxic to refill my ammo. Since I'll be using Toxic rounds, this will be really easy to do. Next up, we have the Borealis chest piece with the attributes of firepower, status power, and long range damage. Cooldown reduction would be better instead of status power, but you can't change that with legendary armor sets. With the mods, I left Icicle Storm on, which is such a great mod, with not only the damage it can do, but also chaining it with every enemy close by, allowing me to clear hordes of enemies in an instant. Then I put Captain Hunter for some extra damage to elites. Basically, this mod is going to be on every build that exists no matter what class you're using. Moving on to the legs. I went with the second piece of the Borealis set having the same attributes. It came with the mod Freezing Boost, increasing my damage by 15% against frozen enemies, so all I had to do was add Euthanizer to increase my damage by 25% against enemies afflicted by Toxic. Going to the last piece needed to get the Borealis set bonus, the gloves. Coming with the attributes of max health, cooldown reduction, and long range damage. Max health isn't too bad to have, just for a little bit of extra safety. Not like we can do much about it, but yeah. For the mods, I left Shatter on because a 25% damage increase against frozen enemies is a really nice modifier to have on for this setup. So I exchanged the second mod for Ice Component, which is going to let my turret spread freeze now instead of toxic. You can kind of see where this is heading with all the freezing modifiers. Since I have the Borealis set on, I'll do insane amounts of damage to enemies frozen. Also, there's all the toxic damage modifiers, while my weapon will be applying that status as well, just stacking damage on top of damage for very quick and easy kills. The last piece of armor, the boots. You can go with whatever purple rarity with the attributes of bonus firepower, long range damage, and cooldown reduction. As you can see, I wasn't able to get long range damage, but this build still hits extremely hard missing one attribute. Again, it would be better to have though. With the mods, I went with Critical Analysis for some increased crit damage. I went with this because it's going to be really easy to land critical shots on frozen enemies since they won't be moving, just killing enemies with a single burst from the AR. Then the second mod is Sharp Eye, just being used to boost my firepower. That's everything covering the weapons and armor, so let's hop over to the skills now. For my first skill, I went with the Blighted Turret because it's able to freeze enemies in place, allowing me to do a lot more damage to them because of the frozen damage modifiers I have on. Also, there's a node in the class tree that increases my weapon damage whenever I throw it out, and it having a short cooldown is amazing, allowing me to change its position to best suit whatever situation I may end up in during the pod rescues. This is a very good skill that complements this build really nicely. The second skill up is going to be Cold Snap, just freezing all enemies in a good sized area around me. This skill also offers me really good AoE damage because of the mod Icicle Storm and some extra crit damage because of the Borealis set, allowing me to do more damage against frozen enemies. Only downside to this skill is its cooldown time, but that's not that big of an issue because we can use the Blighted Turret to freeze enemies as well for us. This skill is mainly used to instant freeze tough enemies in front of us to get rid of them quicker, or you can use it however you like when you play. The last skill everyone already saw coming, Blighted Rounds, increasing my weapon damage, crit damage, spreading toxic so I can deal more damage, and refill my ammo after every kill so I'll never have to reload. That's everything for the skills, so let's dive into the class tree now. As you can see in the class tree, I took all the nodes that would increase my rifle damage and weapon damage, a big node that inflicts vulnerability onto enemies when they become afflicted by toxic for some more damage, nodes that decrease the distance to be considered long range, a big node that increases the damage I receive and dish out, another big node that increases my anomaly power, which increases my firepower because of the mod anomaly enhancement, then two big nodes, one increasing my max ammo, and another giving me a weapon damage buff whenever I use the skill Blighted Turret. That's everything for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, or if you think there's something I could add or change in this build to make it better, let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe for more weekly Outriders content, and join the Discord if you're looking for more people to play with. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.